I'm gonna do it again because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back, Kevin.
Eddie, what the you doing? Get on stage. I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe.
You can't argue with it. Kevin Hart is one of the biggest names in comedy right now. But lately, his name's been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. And it ain't just trolls online. His own peers in the comedy game, especially other black comedians, are throwing shade left and right. You know how cutthroat that world can be. 1 second they're hyping you up, and the next they're dragging you through the mud with just a punchline. Now here's the twist. Why would someone at Kevin's level be looking over his shoulder like that? What's got him so spooked? Well, buckle up, because this is where Eddie Murphy slides into the scene. Yup, the GOAT himself. Eddie doesn't pop off for no reason. So when he starts making moves, you know something major is brewing. Word is, there's some real skeletons in Kevin's closet, messy stuff. And we already got a taste of it when Katt Williams came out swinging earlier this year, airing out some of that hidden drama. Kevin tried to hit back, but let's keep it real. He didn't look confident. He looked shook. Now, if Eddie and his circle are really lining up to expose even more, Kevin might be staring down a whole avalanche of smoke. It's looking like the heat's far from over for Kev. And let's not forget, Eddie Murphy don't jump into drama for kicks. He's the cool, collected legend who usually stays above the mess.
I don't know what records nobody broke, Kevin.
Yeah, they've worked together before, like on Meet Dave. But even shared credits ain't enough to stop Eddie from pulling the curtain back on Kevin's mess. So, what's got Eddie raising his eyebrows now? Well, let's just say there's been some shady talk circulating for a while about how Kevin really made it to the top. People been whispering that Kevin didn't just grind his way up, he played the game, got real cozy with the gatekeepers.
Definitely haven't ran into to put on the trust. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
Maybe even stepped on a few backs to keep climbing. Some are saying he did whatever it took to get that spotlight, even if it meant cutting corners or burning bridges along the way. And it doesn't stop there. There's chatter about some way more serious stuff too, stuff that don't just sound messy, it sounds straight up sketchy. And Eddie, he's not just another voice in the crowd. This man's been dominating the industry since the 80s, not the 90s, and he's seen it all. If something shady went down behind the scenes, best believe Eddie caught wind of it a long time ago. Let's not forget what Katt Williams said either. On that Club Shay podcast, Katt didn't hold nothing back. He flat out said Kevin was an industry plant. Katt Williams didn't just throw shade, he lit the whole tree on fire. He pointed out how Kevin Hart's rise in Hollywood was almost too perfect. Think about it. Dude touches down in LA, and within his first year, he's already starring in Soul Plane and headlining his own network sitcom? Come on now. Katt wasn't buying it, and honestly, he had a point. He said, have we ever seen a comedian come to LA and blow up like that? A sitcom and a lead movie role first year? Then he dropped the mic with, what do you think a plan is? Maybe folks don't even know the definition. Now, if you didn't already know, the tension between Katt and Kevin ain't new. It actually goes way back to 2008 with the movie Fool's Gold. Katt was originally supposed to star in it, but because of some legal drama, he had to back out. And guess who slid right in and grabbed the role? Yup, Kevin. That's when things started to get spicy between the two. And ever since then, it's been low-key beef simmering just below the surface.
I was actually one of those comedians that said, no, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way I would wear a dress. And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, I said, oh, that's funny, I'm gonna do it. It's all about choice. You know, nobody makes you do anything. Right. Nobody says, this is what you gotta do. This is the only way that you're gonna do it.
But it's more than just petty competition. Katt's been warning people about letting so-called stars who might not be keeping it real control the storylines in this industry. He said the real problem is when the ones with all the money, connections, and media power are the biggest liars. According to Katt, just because you got the spotlight don't mean you're telling the truth. He's calling out a system where the slickest talkers with the biggest checks get to dominate the narrative while the real ones get buried, ignored, or painted as crazy for speaking facts. And he's not afraid to say it. He thinks Kevin Hart is one of those guys riding high off a manufactured image, not one built from the grind like folks are made to believe. But Katt Williams ain't stupid. He knows running his mouth like this could put a big target on his back. He's fully aware that some folks will label him bitter, jealous, or say he's just mad because he ain't in Kevin's position. But when asked if he's scared of backlash, Katt hit back with something deep. He said, Satan can't create anything that includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is to act like it didn't happen. Whew, that wasn't just shade, that was a whole eclipse. This whole idea that Kevin Hart is an industry plant isn't new either. It's tied to a long-running rumor in Hollywood, a dark one. Word on the street is that some entertainers are forced or pressured to wear a dress on camera, almost like it's a secret initiation or a twisted rite of passage to unlock the next level of fame. It's like, put on the dress and you get the spotlight. Refuse, you get blackballed or labeled difficult. And guess what? Katt ain't the only one who's been sounding the alarm.
Because what people didn't know was I was paid $50,000 to do the movie Precious. And it really wasn't about the money, and I'm not complaining because I signed up to do it with my friend.
Yeah.
So when the movie studio says we can't set a precedence and pay you to do this, we didn't have an issue with them.
Okay.
But that's when the reports came that now Monique is being demanding.
Even Dave Chappelle spoke on it. And you know Dave don't play when it comes to exposing the game. Back in 2006, during that legendary interview with Oprah, Dave broke down why he walked away from a $50 million Comedy Central deal. It wasn't just about money, it was about what that money really cost. He made it clear that when the checks get that big, the strings attached ain't just fine print, they're chains. Dave's been in the industry since he was 14, and he's seen the dark side of the fame machine. From shady contracts to silent pressure, he's hinted that there's way more happening behind closed doors than fans ever see. Dave Chappelle didn't just warn us, he showed us how this game plays out. He pointed to stars like Mariah Carey, who scored a massive $100 million deal, and then out of nowhere got labeled crazy just months later. Or Martin Lawrence, on top of the world one moment, and then suddenly out in the streets, waving a gun and screaming that somebody was trying to kill him. It's those kinds of situations that had Dave side-eyeing every move when Oprah brought up these Hollywood breakdowns. See, Dave wasn't just speculating, he lived through it. He said he'd seen a clear pattern. Right when a star's about to break through to that next level, something bizarre always happens. Suddenly, they're unstable, erratic, or just gone quiet altogether. Dave said the industry wanted him to create sketches that didn't just make people laugh, they made people laugh at him. It was all about humiliation for a check, and he wasn't with it. But here's where it gets even crazier. Dave shared a behind-the-scenes moment from a film he did with Martin Lawrence. He walked into the wardrobe trailer and saw a dress hanging there. He thought, this ain't for me, but guess what? It was. The script had a scene where Martin's character breaks out of jail by dressing Dave up like a woman, out of nowhere. No heads up, just boom, you're in a dress now. Dave was like, nah, that's not part of the plan. They hit him with the usual Hollywood pressure. It's just a funny scene. Don't be difficult. Come on, man, it'll kill in theaters. But Dave wasn't folding. He told them flat out, I don't need a dress to be funny. Writers, directors, producers all started pushing hard, trying to guilt trip him into it. But he held his ground. And then, just like that, they came up with a whole new scene. On the spot, that's when it hit Dave. If it was that easy to change the script, why were y'all so pressed about the dress in the first place? Dave wasn't against the idea of wearing a dress just to be controversial. That wasn't the issue. What rubbed him the wrong way was how the industry kept pushing black men to cross certain lines just to get ahead. It felt like a trap, like they were testing how far you'd go for a paycheck. And once Dave stood firm and refused, they finally backed off, but it left him thinking hard. That moment opened his eyes to a bigger pattern. He realized it wasn't just about him. Other black male stars had gone through the same thing. Martin Lawrence suited up for Big Mama's House. Eddie Murphy did his thing in The Nutty Professor. And Jamie Foxx went all in with the wild, exaggerated Wanda character on In Living Color. Then you got the Wayans brothers doing the most in White Chicks. Even Joanna Mann got thrown in the mix. And of course, Tyler Perry turned the dress game into a billion-dollar empire with Medea. So when Kevin Hart started coming up during all this, people were watching to see if he'd follow the same script. And surprisingly, at least back then, Kevin was on a whole different vibe. He was out here giving motivational gems about staying true to your image and not crossing lines that could stain your reputation. When asked about the infamous wear a dress for a laugh move, Kevin made it clear, nah. He said he'd never faced that kind of pressure, but he already knew where his line was. He said you gotta protect the brand, but here's where things really took a wild turn. Just 1 year after Kevin Hart was all about protecting the brand and saying no to dresses, boom, he pops up on SNL wearing a dress playing a 9-year-old Oscar nominee. Fans were not feeling it. Social media lit up with people dragging him for flipping the script and doing the exact thing he preached against. Folks were like, wait a minute, Kev. Wasn't you the same one talking about boundaries? What happened to all that? The backlash was immediate. People started calling him a sellout, fake, and worse, accusing him of chasing checks over character. And you know what? It did feel like a major plot twist. Kevin had been so vocal about not playing himself for laughs. But when the moment came, he did a full 180, like it was nothing. When people questioned him, Kevin switched up real quick. He went from "I'm not doing that" to "It's just comedy, lighten up." He even tried to defend himself by saying Martin Lawrence, Tyler Perry, and Jamie Foxx all chose to wear dresses for their roles. Nobody forced them. According to Kevin, it's all about personal choice, and he was just doing what made sense for the moment. But here's the thing. That's where folks started pushing back even harder. Because if it's all about choice, then why were you so against it before? What changed? Oh, right, the money. Fans started saying Kevin only backed down from his values once the checks started hitting different. Steve Harvey didn't even try to sugarcoat it. He once said, "Give me $10 million and I'll embarrass myself all the way to the bank." Just like that, he admitted he'd toss integrity to the side if the bag was big enough. And as wild as that sounds, a lot of folks in the game seem to feel the same way. They just won't say it out loud. Now back to Kevin Hart. After he stepped into that dress on SNL, everything changed. His career didn't just take off, it skyrocketed. He became the highest paid comedian in the world, stacking millions like nobody else in the business. And whether folks like it or not, that moment in the dress, it started to look like his golden ticket. Yeah, people can argue all day about what it cost him in terms of integrity, but when it comes to fame and fortune, Kevin's sitting comfy, and he's definitely not broke. So while critics are talking, Kevin's laughing straight to the bank with no signs of slowing down. But that's not where the drama ends, because here comes Monique, and she's not holding back. She's called out Kevin for allegedly abandoning her when she needed him most. This was during the time when Monique was catching serious heat from Hollywood power players like Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. Instead of backing her up like a real one, Kevin, according to Monique, distanced himself and stayed silent. And to make it messier, word is Kevin's been getting real chummy with both Oprah and Tyler. Yup, those same folks Monique was going toe-to-toe with. That had people side-eyeing him like, was this about climbing the ladder, no matter who you leave behind? It's crazy too, because back in 2021, Kevin had Monique on his Comedy Gold Mines podcast. They chopped it up about her career, her legacy, and everything she's been through. But if you know Monique's history,
He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we on the same page.
especially her beef with Oprah and Tyler, you already know that episode wasn't just a casual convo. All right, now here's where things take a surprising twist, because just when folks were dragging Kevin for flipping sides, Monique came through with a different kind of story that had people raising eyebrows again. During a heart-to-heart convo on Kevin Hart's Comedy Gold Mines podcast, Monique got real about the struggles she and her family had been facing. She said it felt like they were backed against a wall, with powerful forces in Hollywood trying to shut her out. And to everyone's shock, Kevin actually stepped up. He told Monique she was like family to him, a mother, an aunt, a sister, all in one. And he didn't just hit her with sweet talk, he actually took action. Kevin admitted he didn't really know Oprah personally, but he did have a line to Tyler Perry, and he promised Monique he'd reach out. And guess what? He did just that. After speaking with Perry, Kevin circled back to Monique with what sounded like good news. Tyler was ready to move past the drama and bury the beef. Not only that, Kevin told Monique it was time to stop looking in the rearview mirror. He encouraged her to focus on what they could build moving forward. He was like, "Mo, we got bigger things to chase. Let's leave that negativity behind and make something great." And it didn't stop there. On Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, Monique revealed that Kevin wasn't just talking support, he was ready to invest in her future. He offered to partner with her on any project she had in mind and even volunteered to executive produce it. She said Kevin told her straight up, "Mo, Tyler said he doesn't want to revisit that situation, but let's not even worry about that. Whatever you want to do, I got you. I'll partner with you." Monique didn't just stop at the emotional tea, she dropped some serious receipts. She revealed that Kevin Hart came through in a big way when she needed help, even lending her a fat stack of cash. And she didn't fumble it either, she paid him back with interest. That's real grown energy. But just when it looked like Kevin was really riding for her, the story took a messy turn. After Kevin promised he'd help Monique reboot her talk show, she was hyped. I mean, who wouldn't be? Having Kevin Hart attached as an executive producer. That could take any project from idea to blockbuster real quick. Monique ran and told her team over at Endemol, her production company, and they were just as excited. Big star, big money, big opportunity. Everything was falling into place until it wasn't. Just 2 weeks later, Monique got hit with a bombshell. Endemol told her Kevin's manager, none other than Dave Becky, called them up and said Kevin was pulling out. Cold feet, no explanation. Just like that, the whole plan got yanked. Monique was confused, blindsided, and heartbroken. So she picks up the phone to call Kevin directly, thinking maybe it was a misunderstanding. And what does she get? A weak response. We'll talk Tuesday, don't worry about it. But Tuesday never came. Fast forward 2 whole years. Still no word from Kevin, not even a check-in. That's when the internet sleuths started connecting the dots. Some fans started calling Kevin's move shady, wondering if he ever planned to help Monique in the first place. And then people brought up something even more suspicious. Remember when Kevin claimed he didn't really know Oprah Winfrey like that? Well, hold on now, because back in 2019, after his serious car crash and back surgery, Kevin told Ellen that Oprah actually sent him flowers. Kevin once joked that Oprah's flowers are like a never-ending saga. He said they've basically taken over his whole house, still blooming, still thriving, turning his place into a straight-up indoor jungle. It got so wild that the flowers ended up covering the entire dining table, and the Hart family had to start eating meals on the floor. He even laughed, saying someone must be secretly watering them behind his back because no matter what, those flowers just won't die. Sounds like a sweet, funny story, right? But here's where things start to smell a little off. How do you tell the world you barely even know Oprah when you've been publicly raving about her unforgettable gift for years? That ain't just a passing acquaintance. That's you made a whole joke about it level familiarity. And now, with everything going down between Monique, Oprah, and Tyler Perry, Kevin's sudden amnesia seems kind of convenient. The streets are talking. Rumors are flying that Kevin may have sold out, cozying up to industry giants like Oprah and Tyler to protect his own spot at the top. Word is, if he had actually gone through with helping Monique bring her career back to life, he might have been risking his own career. Some fans believe the powers that be weren't about to let Monique get a second shot, and anyone who tried to help her would have paid the price. Let's rewind for context. The beef between Monique and the Hollywood heavyweights dates back to 2009 when she starred in Precious, produced by none other than Oprah and Tyler Perry, and directed by Lee Daniels. The drama kicked off when Monique was asked to hit the international press circuit for the film, but with no extra pay. And Monique wasn't having it. She clapped back like, "That's not in my contract." She revealed she only made $50,000 for the entire role, pennies for a performance that ended up winning Oscars, and now they wanted her flying around the globe for free? But let's be real, Oprah and Tyler Perry did not take Monique's no lightly. Instead of respecting her boundaries, they allegedly went into damage control mode by trashing her name in the industry. According to Monique, they started spinning the narrative that she was difficult to work with, a classic Hollywood tactic to silence someone who won't play along. And Monique, she didn't hold back. She revealed a convo she had with Tyler that still has people talking. Tyler allegedly told her, "You may want to consider promoting this film because if you get nominated for an Oscar, your next film is worth $3 to $5 million. And if you win, you're looking at $6 to $8 million. Basically, he was dangling future paydays in front of her face like a carrot on a stick, but only if she agreed to play the game. Monique was like, "Hold up, I'm a black woman. Where are they handing out those checks, brother?" She told Tyler flat out, "I can't work for free. I did what I was contracted to do. I'm not flying overseas on my own dime just to promote a movie that already cashed in." And it didn't stop there. Tyler responded by saying, "I don't believe in giving money away for free." To which Monique clapped back with, "Cool, I don't believe in working for free, period." That's when it became clear. This wasn't just a business disagreement. It was a fundamental clash of values. And Monique, she wasn't budging an inch. But the real tea? Monique claims Tyler didn't just stop at disagreeing with her. He allegedly took it further, working behind the scenes to block her from getting roles and slowing down her career. According to Monique, the drama really exploded after she refused to hop on a plane to France for the Cannes Film Festival to promote Precious. Here's how it went down. The studio asked her to fly overseas, but Monique, juggling her talk show, a comedy tour, and her duties as a wife and mother, respectfully declined. She had already done her part for the film. and she wasn't about to sacrifice her rare downtime for more unpaid labor. They tried to tempt her with perks, like a luxury hotel upgrade, hoping she'd cave. But Monique and her husband weren't budging. She made it clear, I'm doing a talk show, I'm doing stand-up, I've got a husband, I've got babies, I've got a little break, and I'm gonna use it to be with my family. I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done what was in the contract. She said it was a respectful disagreement, plain and simple. They didn't argue, didn't fall out, just mutually agreed to disagree. But right after that, boom! Suddenly Monique had a brand new label in Hollywood. Difficult. That's when the smear campaign began. No more glowing reviews, no more open doors, just whispers about her being hard to work with. All because she didn't drop everything and work for free? That's wild. And here's the kicker. When the studio followed up again, asking for a third time if there was any way she'd come to France, Monique's husband hit them with a real one. Is there a number attached to this request? That's when Monique said the studio hit her with the final insult. They claimed they never pay anyone to promote a film. Keep in mind, she was only paid $50,000 for Precious, and it wasn't even about the money. She did it as a favor to a friend. But once she said no to doing extra press for free, the narrative flipped. Suddenly she was difficult, demanding, and blackballed from the industry, all for standing her ground. Now, while that storm was brewing, another one hit Kevin Hart like a freight train. Rumors exploded that he had cheated on his ex-wife, Torrei Hart, with his current wife, Eniku. Torrei and Kevin split back in 2011 after 8 years of marriage, and she didn't hold back. She caught him red-handed, messing with multiple women, and yup, the streets say Eniku was one of them. But it gets worse. Torrei wasn't just Kevin's wife. She was grinding behind the scenes, writing jokes for his movies and stand-up sets. And what did she get in return? No credit, no check. And allegedly, Kevin even spent that joke money on his mistresses. To make it even more savage, he turned her pain into punchlines on stage. And now, Torrei's teaming up with Kevin's biggest rival, Katt Williams. She just announced she's hitting the road with him on his Dark Matter tour, the same Katt who flamed Kevin on Club Shay Shay. And Torrei posted it loud and proud on IG, standing next to Katt like they've been plotting for years. Kevin tried to play it cool when asked about it, but let's be real. You know that stung. He can act unbothered all he wants, but this situation is way too messy to ignore. So what do you think? Is Kevin finally getting a taste of his own medicine, or is this all just smoke with no fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to share this video if you love the tea